Greetings, scholars. Welcome back to the Marketing Strategy Lecture Series for our final installment, Chapter 11, Marketing Strategies for a Digitally Networked World. Some of this stuff will dovetail into social media marketing course, if you've had that. If not, it'll dovetail into your principles of marketing. We're going to talk about how marketing strategy differs, or how it's different today than it was, say, 20 years ago, with the widespread adoption, the invention of the internet, and the widespread adoption of web-based technologies in doing business and marketing. So this slide outlines some elements characterizing new economy technologies. We're going to talk about one at a time moving forward, but ability to optimize syndication, increasing returns to scale of network products, personalization and customization, disintermediation, and restructuring. I hope everyone knows what disintermediation means by now. If not, you should. And if you don't, I'll hit it again in a minute. The global reach, you'd say the global reach of the internet, round-the-clock access, and instantaneous delivery. If you want to send something, you send it around the world with one click, essentially what that means. So with that said, what does ability to optimize mean? Well, if we are using digital tools, whether it be e-commerce or we're using social media platforms or any tool like that, we can measure a lot. This says makes everything measurable. I would say makes most everything measurable. Actually, you can measure probably most everything, but some measurements are more difficult to analyze. But we can measure click-throughs, length of time on the page, abandoned shopping carts, why were they abandoned, where they clicked from, what country, what IP address, that kind of thing. Enables marketers to change content aimed at different market segments. We can take the same product and write a different blurb for it, and we can point that at people that log onto our site, say from an Apple computer versus a Microsoft computer, something that might be of more interest to them. Airlines do it, and we can point the same product to different people with different messages. So it helps us optimize spending or be more efficient with spending. Everybody, you show an ad on television during the Super Bowl, you're getting all sorts of people looking at it, right? If we want to only spend money with people who can afford to buy our expensive luxury automobile, we're going to narrow that down by some demographic markers, maybe education, maybe where they live, maybe by income, or if they're a prior purchaser of our type of automobile. And we can spend it more efficiently, which the internet and social media platforms have enabled in recent years. So information syndication. Many of you, or some of you, may subscribe to some newsletters or RSS feeds, which stands for really simple syndication. You can subscribe to an RSS on a certain magazine or website, and whenever you don't have to go back and check it. Whenever they post a new article or something that you're interested in, you'll get it. All right, so the internet and digital and web-based technologies have made that very easy and very efficient. Sometimes it's informational goods that people subscribe to, they're woodworkers, and they want to know when a an article comes out about making a canoe out of wood or something. Then they get that. And you can automate it, digitize it, sell ads specifically for that type of category. And it's very flexible. And again, adds a lot of efficiency to marketing. And you can also syndicate information that's not, maybe it's not particularly yours, not original to you, but it's a Huffington Post, for example, used to, they have some original authors on that site, but for years, all they did was just republish things that appeared in other places and categorize them, you know, based on what they were, politics or pop culture or electronics, that kind of stuff. So you can generate your own info or syndicate other people's as long as it's not protected. Increasing returns to scale of network products. Well, here we come to the term positive network effect, which you've, in other marketing courses or even management courses, you've run into almost assuredly. And you know, how popular would Instagram be if only 1,000 people used it? Not very much. The more people use it, the more of your cohorts, colleagues, friends, the more valuable it becomes. That's essentially a positive network effect. The more people that use it regularly makes it more valuable. So we've talked about categories of media in this course before, and you have in other courses before as well. I just want to, this is just a recap, but the difference between owned, paid, and earned. And I have some examples on here. Owned media is information that I have on my website or that Walmart has on their website or Target or whoever. Paid media is, you know, if I'm using Google AdWords and I buy words and phrases that when people search, then my ad will appear, hopefully appear at the top if I'm paying for it or close to it. Banner ads that scroll across your screen. Just as an aside, you know, two things that millennials and those younger really hate are banner ads and autoplay videos. Just a little research for you. I'm not in either one of those age categories, but I hate them as well. But anyway, that's paid media, and earned media is consumer generated. So it's something that you didn't pay for, but somebody writes a positive review, you know, on Yelp of your restaurant or your business, or several people do. That would be earned media or consumer generated content, we call it, or USG sometimes, user generated content, UGC. But you should be familiar with those categories of media even before you came to this class, but certainly for the final exam. Personalization and customization. I had an example of this just yesterday, which I will I'll come to my yesterday experience in another slide or two. But when you have personalization is marketer driven, in this example, Amazon, or the classic example, you buy something and it says, you know, people who bought this also frequently bought these items. That's called an expert recommender system. And they have, you know, huge databases of, you know, everybody that bought whatever you bought. So ponytail holders, and they say they generally bought this and this. So they'll make that bring that up and see if they can't spur you to buy those as well. And that's all routinized. You don't have to have a person watching what somebody's buying go, well, have you thought about buying some socks as well? It all happens automatically, which is very cheap because they're doing it millions of times, you know, a minute. Sometimes customization is user driven. During my prior life in electrical contracting business, we may have an account set up with Grainger, who's a industrial supply outfit, they sell everything from, hand soap to light bulbs. Well, we were mostly interested in light bulbs and uh, ballasts and fixtures and wire and things like that. I didn't care to plow through their whole catalog, so they would set up, or I could set up what I wanted to see in the catalog. I didn't care to see their Igloo water coolers and their Gojo hand, uh, you know, soap pumps. So the customer can do that, and that's great, because then you don't see all that extraneous stuff that you're not interested in anyway. And personalization and customization helps build customer loyalty, because I get used to it and I like it. And maybe a competitor doesn't offer that. I have to go through everything to get what I'm a frequent buyer of. But you can really cement yourself with a customer, and what they call in that business, increase the switching costs. In other words, if we switch to another vendor, even though it's a nickel cheaper on every item, now we've got to operate in a new system and set it up like we have this system here, which is already like we want it. So I can make it less likely for customers to switch. Staying on personalization and customization, my example from yesterday was I recently had a birthday, but I haven't been to an ATM in a long time. I needed to the other day because I was getting a haircut, and she only accepts cash. So even though it was after my birthday, it knew that I had not accessed an ATM since my birthday. So when I stuck my card in, it immediately wished me a happy belated birthday with, balloons flying on the screen and all that stuff. That's a great example of rules-based personalization, right? They had that set up for every customer at Wells Fargo, and in and around their birthdays or other important days that they happen to have provided to Wells Fargo, it just happens. And it's cheap. It doesn't really cost them anything. And, maybe it makes me like them a little better because, they remembered it was my birthday. It doesn't really work that way for me, but, I can see how that could work. Going back up to the first bullet point of collaborative filtering, that's when you're personalizing a marketing offering for each customer. And we'll go back to the online recommendation system for Amazon, where you can, rebuy. You're familiar, everyone's probably pretty familiar with Amazon. Your recent purchases, your purchases over the last year. If you don't remember what it was, you can find it. Or if you buy some screws, it says, well, you probably need some washers and a new screwdriver or whatever. That using collaborative filtering, they use that with their online expert recommender system. And then we have mass customization, which is an odd phrase, because I usually think when something's customized, it's just for you, it's unique, it's a one-off. And then you put mass in front of it, which means, one thing for everybody. But, if you have a design or a logo or something, you can set up a store on Cafe Press and just pick what products you want it printed on. And it's as if you have you've got a store. Somebody can order a T-shirt or a sweatshirt with that logo on it, and they'll make it and ship it to them. So you don't have to, like if you play in a band or something, you don't have to buy a bunch of T-shirts and stuff to sell and guess the sizes and all that. Well, I guess at a gig you would, but other than that, people could go to your website and they could buy exactly what they want. And you never have the issue of, we're out of extra large, because they're making them one at a time. But so the customer can specify what they want, as far as in this example, an item of clothing with a saying or logo on it or whatever. And screen is another outfit that does that. And that's one of the better examples I can come up with for mass customization. So threats under the digital world fundamentals topic. Threat of disintermediation. So I'm going to come back to that. That means cutting out the middleman. So if you're a wholesaler and you sell to retailers, in a digital age, retailers can cut you out and buy directly from the supplier. Just think, if you go to Target, you buy some things you want then, but if you're willing to wait a day or two, you could buy them online from Amazon, or you could buy them from Target, actually, and never set foot in a store. During the pandemic of COVID-19, a lot of people did that because they didn't want to go. They didn't want to go and buy from the selection they have at the store. I'll just buy from everything that I want is, generally available online. I buy it that way. Very few barriers to entry. We could put up a storefront and a website selling all kinds of stuff in just a day or two. So if we have a great site and we go, yeah, this is great, well, somebody else could also do the same thing and make it even better and do it quick. And then you have privacy and security issues. It's kind of a paradox. Everybody's interested in their privacy and security, but in social media marketing, we talk about the privacy paradox. People don't have any problem sharing all their personal information. Yet when you ask them in surveys, many people are worried about it. But so you have to assure that your site is secure and private, and somebody's not going to hack it and get all of your information, especially, let's say, it's pharmaceuticals or medical information or financial information, that kind of stuff. So those are things you have to think about in this time that we're in currently, or this digital world. So the authors mentioned a decision framework that includes, different things. There are applications. We can get a lot of customer insight from digital products, right? A lot of it, people will volunteer. Other large batches of it are available from data brokers, and subscription services you can buy too, and they'll send you your information on people. Everybody they've collected. Anybody who's been on the internet, for a year, the internet's connected, several thousand data points about those people. Conducting transactions. Obviously, people expect to be able to conduct a transaction online, right? And if they're in a retail store, they expect to be able just to tap their card and make it. So you have to keep those things in mind. Digital products can be delivered without any hard copy ever being generated. You could buy Microsoft Word as a digital download and you never have a disk. Customer service and support, people expect to be able to handle those issues without picking up the phone and calling. Used to be that people thought you needed to have large phone banks so people didn't wait online. Now companies really need to concentrate on listening to their Twitter feed and paying attention to their forms that they have online when customers are submitting questions, or employing chat bots with live people, and sometimes not live people, and those are generally useless to me, as well as being facilitate product return and getting rid of anything. If you ever sold your old cell phone after you're through with it, or textbooks, or whatever, you can do all that. So they all have digital, I'm not going to call it the digital economy, but the digital world, which is kind of a lame phrase, provides applications for all these things, and people expect them. So if you say, well, we're going to go old school and not do any of that, well, that might be a niche you might be successful in, but keep in mind that people expect to operate in your place just like they do every other place that they got. So managing digitally networked strategies. You have to find the right people that know something about it to be able to manage it, right? Everybody's not a coder. You might need a coder. Everybody's not a social media marketer. They may have social media platforms that they mess around with. Everybody does, but they know how to make it work for business. And how free is social media marketing? What does it cost to have an Instagram account? Well, nothing. But does that mean it's free? No, because you need to pay someone who has some knowledge, background, education in the topic, and that person is going to need to be paid to manage those accounts in order to make them work like you want them to. Just setting up an Instagram, just setting up social media accounts for 5 different platforms for your plumbing business, and then not doing anything with them past the first post, you're better off just to not have them at all, because people go to a website, or especially a social media site. You go to a Twitter feed for somebody and there hasn't been a tweet for a month. I will probably tend to believe that they're out of business. So it can be more damaging than not having any at all. So while social media is free, running a good digital marketing program is not. You need to be able to attract those people. You also need to consider the various ways in which revenue could be generated. I've got on here web and mobile smartphones. More people use mobile smartphones or smartphones to conduct business, Google searches, things than they do desktops. Okay, so if you're, and I see it a lot, where companies are not optimized for mobile. It's just their website that shows up on a mobile phone and it's unusable. I have to expand everything to try to find where I want to get the information or whatever. Also delivering, coupons to people using geofencing, when you're in a shopping center and can you deliver a coupon to somebody to bring them into your store? That kind of thing. So those different ways in which you can generate revenue digitally need to be thought through, planned for, and then of course executed and measured and then refined, so it can make it better. Anticipating future customer needs and realizing that entry barriers for new entrepreneurs are low. These are 2 items, one that I've already touched on, but it's important, which is that second one, realizing that barriers to entry are low. We can launch a global, worldwide business. I could do it today, selling something, and have immediate reach. So you always have to be assessing that. You always need to be assessing that to see who else is doing what, and are we being successful with our traffic? Is our traffic going up? Is it going down? Where are people coming? What side are they coming from to our site? That kind of thing. And anticipating future customer needs. Where is customer service heading, over the next couple years? Is it a manned chat function on the website, or is it going more routinized chat bot? You need to be aware of and familiar with the latest research in marketing to see. Usually something starts very small and you go, oh, that's a neat idea, and if you turn a blind eye to it, then it's taken over and you're behind the times. So you want to be anticipating future customer needs, which is a full-time job, and then again realize that people, just because you have a successful business doesn't mean that someone else can't be just as successful and quick. So you don't want to be the dead part of the quick and the dead. All right, that wraps up chapter 11, and I will see you guys on the internet.